Now then, we have another main event confirmed for WrestleMania after last week's SmackDown. We have a triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. I guess it's kind of a you do that because
Yeah,
of
I
the
didn't know. I
you
didn't know
put your
what to
arms
do.
you
So,
put your arms out for that one, I guess. So yeah, it's long been rumored that this was going to be a match at Mania, and obviously the pieces were shown very early on, from the Rumble match to Seth and Punk continuing their feud in between, and then Roman pulling Seth out at the cage match and attacking Punk after that. And to be honest, it's a match I'm really looking forward to. Again, if there had been no build and you just told me there was a random match in the middle of the card and it was Seth, Punk, and Roman, I'd have taken it, to be fair. Now, of course, we've got a few more interesting wrinkles added in there now because, of course, there's been this ongoing debate online and ongoing carrot dangled out in front of everybody of what's this favour, and that's what we're going to discuss a little bit today and theorise a little bit on. But before we do that, Bragster, like Monday Night Raw, you were there for Friday Night SmackDown. So how was it being in the building for that segment at the end of SmackDown?
it was unbelievable. The crowd was on tenterhooks the entire time. Like, it was like the whole singing of Roman Reigns is like singing Roman Reigns, and then Paul Heyman obviously doing it as well, which was hilarious.
That cracked me up. That I have to admit.
So funny. You could see Nick Aldis at multiple points nearly break, and it's so funny to watch back and just watching Nick Aldis. But it was so easy for people to generate songs and generate chants because everyone was so quiet. Everyone was listening to every word that was being said, from the entrances to every. And like, it was being built to throughout the entire night, and we got to it, and how everyone expected it to go, not how it went. Everyone was expecting Roman to come out, and then Seth to come out, and then Punk to come out, and then them all to sign the contracts and probably ends in a brawl, whatever. The fact that it didn't, and instead Roman got his time, Seth got his time, Punk got his time, all separately, was really cool and very different way of doing a contract signing. What we didn't know until watching it back was that we were singing Roman Reigns for the whole 3 minutes of that entire ad break.
Yeah.
Like, because when it comes back, it's Roman sat in the chair. Like, from watching it back, you have his entrance, and it stops at a certain point in his entrance, and then you have him back in the chair going, "Oh, you sing for your tribal chief." And then that's when I realized, when I was at home rewatching it, no one saw the 3 minutes of us singing. And then we just did it all again as if it never happened. It was so cool. As I mentioned to you off camera, I was very, very close. I was on the floor for it, and managed to capture Roman looking directly at my camera, which was very, very cool. Joys of being tall, I guess. But like, it just built and built and built. And then we get to Punk coming out. After the incredible exchange between Roman and Seth, which is a whole different thing, you've got Punk, who then comes out and goes and just starts looking through it. And we're like, and as fans, it's weird because we're all just stood there. And like, because it was the end of the show, we were all allowed to stay at the ramp and not move and not have to go back to our seats, like they usually would. So we're like just in a congregation of a bunch of people just stood there watching, and us all going, "What is he doing? What is it?" And then obviously telling Heyman to put him into check, and then you get the moment, the most goosebumply moment, and I just love it. Is Heyman just going, "It's there," and we all knew. We're like, "Here it comes. Here's the favor. Here it is. What is it? What is it?" Like, because you could tell by Roman's face he didn't know. You could tell by Seth's face he didn't. Well, you could tell by Seth's reaction he didn't know because he was very, very angry. But you could tell by both of them, like, sort him out. And then Heyman goes, "It's there," and you can tell by everyone else's face they didn't know what that was. And he goes on the whole spiel of being the main event, this, that, and the other. And we're like, there it is. There it is. Heyman has told Punk he's in the main event. They don't have to specifically say it's the favor. Obviously, then you have Roman very hilariously going in one man's day is another man's favor.
Yeah.
Check. Which was very, very funny. And then we're all stood there. And Punk's doing the whole thanking thing. And I vividly remember me turning to my mate and going, how are they going to end this? They've got to end the show, but this is too nice.
Yeah.
Like, everything was too nice. How in the world are they ending this show? And then he just stands up and goes, but that's not the favor. And you just, all you hear, I get goosebumps thinking about it now. But you just, the arena just goes, oh, because we all saw the graphic come on screen as if it was ending before the thanking even happened. We're like, what? Like, that means there's no brawl because that's not enough time to do a brawl. But the graphics on the screen say it's finishing. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And we were all confused. And then that line and you just, that's all we found. And we were like, what? And everyone's turning to each other, even the strangers, just all looking at each other going, what? To the point where I just then look at my mate and I'm like, they have a plan. That is the first confirmation we have had that this favor is not just a word they're using to help build it.
Yeah.
They know what that favor is.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, there's your cop out right there, was giving him the main event and having Paul Heyman give it him. That right there is your cop-out of the entire favor storyline. And we wouldn't have cared because it's still Punk getting his main event. So no one would have cared, but that's their cop-out. So the fact that they didn't use the cop-out means they know what it is. And that's the first confirmation we had. And it just, the arena was just like, it literally rang out in oohs and it just didn't like stop like everyone just felt it. And everyone walking out, all you could hear was, what is the favor? What is the favor? What is the favor? That's all anyone was asking.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, watching it on TV, not live, but watching it on the stream afterwards, it was the little credits and stamp marks and watermarks and stuff came up. So I was thinking, oh, we're ending now. Like, but he hadn't started the thank you, and then obviously he dropped the little big dog in there as well, which got a little bit of a kick out of me because I was like, ooh, he doesn't like that. And Roman's like selling it as well, and then when he says that's not the favor, like the crowd at home, I was like, ooh. I was just like, so then of course you're a wrestling fan. As soon as you hear anything like that, or something that just drops a little bit of a tease, your mind goes to different places. Like, what can this favor possibly be? And of course, there's a million things it could be, and that's the beauty of it, is that it could be anything. It could be, it could be anything. I mean, do you have something that do you have a particular thing that it could be, or do you have a bunch of theories in your mind?
What I thought it could be really changed after Raw. Because with Raw being seen as last advertised appearance before Mania, I really thought there was a chance, because Punk was advertised for the show, but what we worked out afterwards was that he was advertised for the live crowd, not for the TV crowd. So, but at the time, I didn't really read too much into it. I just saw that Punk was going to be there, and I was like, oh, maybe Punk interrupts the whole exchange and reveals the favor is, if he wins, he gets inserted into that match.
Yeah.
You could have also had it where the rumors were that The Rock was going to appear at Monday Night Raw. And you could have had it there where The Rock goes, last week you said you were going to leave. I said I wanted a corporate champion who was going to stay and be my champion. That doesn't sound like you're going to do that. So I've had to go to plan B. And that's where you go. And I've spoken to Paul Heyman. The winner of that match goes into the triple threat because I don't want you to win it anymore. And I don't want you to win it.
Yeah.
So it like there was those theories going around, and I was like, but it has to happen on Raw in front of Cena and Cody. You couldn't just do it in front of Cody because you would need Cena's reaction to the whole thing. So the fact that that's not happening, the inserting into the second main event, I just don't think is going to be the case anymore, and that's really what I thought it was going to be. Which then begs the question: what do I think it's going to be now?
Yeah.
Because I just don't see that being the case, and them not doing it in front of Cena. And I think that Cena getting hit with the crossroads was a way of sort of writing him off until Mania.
Yeah.
So it now begs the question: what is it? And the only thing I can come up with is that Punk gets Heyman, and that Heyman leaves Roman for Punk. And that's the favor. Is at any point, Punk can go, I want you to be my wise man. And he takes him off of Roman. Because you've seen the moments, we've all seen the moments of Heyman subtly during where Punk will mention the favor and Heyman goes, now? Like, do you want it now? And it's like, well, if it was something as simple as writing a contract, you couldn't do that. But a turning could happen now. It could happen at any point. That's my only thing where I'm like, if there's going to be a conclusion to it in this Mania section, which I think there will be, the favor is Heyman leaves Roman for Punk.
I've considered that, and I think I part of my theorizing on that particular aspect of that being the favor is I don't think it would be a long-term thing. I could see it being Punk's basically into a corner here. He's got Roman and Seth coming for him. He needs an ace in the sleeve. Heyman is that ace in the sleeve, and Heyman can get him out of it, basically. Which for one night only, he's doing it essentially as a psychological blow to Roman, because Roman comes out and his wise man's not there.
Yeah,
and he's on his own again because he doesn't have the bloodline with him. He is on his own. So I thought of that. I thought about the night 2 main event. I feel like it's kind of, I mean, if they did it as a total surprise, like say for example, Cena, Cody, both come out, do their entrances, and ring announcers about to start the show essentially, and it's like, and introducing your challenger, and then you get of Heyman walking out, waddling on stage, and then he's like, I have something to tell you, basically, and Punk is essentially inserted into the main event of night 2. But I do think that's kind of shoehorning him in a little bit. And I kind of was like, well, they could be doing a bit of a Daniel Bryan, but the Daniel Bryan thing was more effective because he had to win that first one to get into night 2.
Yeah.
And I think, it doesn't make sense to make the winner of that triple threat get into the night 2 because there's been no interaction with them. There's been nothing. There's no reason to put them in. It's Cena and Cody. It doesn't need that third person to go in, like Randy and Batista did at the time. So I've kind of moved away from that a little bit, though I think for a surprise factor, if they just totally dropped it in like how I've imagined it, I think it could work. I think what my gut is telling me is that whoever wins it, or Punk, basically whatever happens in the match, becomes the contender for one of the belts essentially. I think that's what happens. What you're saying about the Wiseman thing, I could now, it's now ticking over my head, and I could see it being of you're a Roman's guy, but you're also my guy now. So like, if I need you, you're with me as well. Like, it's not just a one-way relationship sort of thing. Which could then build to Roman and Punk at a future
Yeah.
big pay-per-view like SummerSlam or Mania or Rumble or something, and then you've got basically they're fighting for Heyman, essentially,
Yeah.
which would be a way to do it. So, or like we've seen, it could be something totally left field, and we don't see it coming, and it's and it would be awesome. But like, that's what I love about this, though. That's what I love about the favor is the fact that there's 20 different directions you can go, and you don't know the conclusion of it. And much like a lot of stuff that's building up to Mania, there is a bit of a question mark as to which way is this going to go.
Yeah.
And sorry,
I don't have a clue who's winning that match, and that's the big one for me. Is, because you've got the favor in the back of your mind. You've then got the fact that Roman's Roman, and then you've got the fact of the dark horse in Seth, who is obviously more than good enough to win. It makes as much sense for him to win, and beat both of them. But then it makes as much sense for the anger to take over him and him get distracted in some way, shape, or form that then ends up with him being the one that's pinned. But you could easily have it where he is the what, he masterminds, he is the architect. He masterminds his way into somehow getting something out of that match because he then causes Roman and Punk to feud almost over Heyman, if anything, plant those seeds, really, make them two clash rather than them two focus on him. They're focusing on each other. And that's what I love about it, is it all interlinks where any of them can win.
Yeah.
I think that what fills me with faith, and as you were saying, like, there's 20 billion ways, they could have this favor done.
Yeah.
What fills me with faith is this is the first confirmation for me that they know what it is.
Yeah.
Up until this point, it's always been, you owe me a favor. 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 And every single point, it's had no inclination into what it is. It's had there's been no options ruled out. And there's always been the lingering cop-out that it could be the main event.
Yeah. This
is the first confirmation that they know what it is. And that has made me more hyped. Similar to how a bunch of other feuds this past week needed that extra kick. Cena and Cody needed that head-to-head battle, that extra kick. You had Gunther and Jay needing that extra kick with the whole killing of Jimmy. And then you've got this. I think the favourite moment, that moment has really kicked everything into gear, because not only has he got his main event, yeah, that's fine, but the fact that that's confirmation that that's not the favourite when everyone knew that was the cop-out, that was their easy out if they needed it.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not just shows that they know what it is.
Yeah.
And that fills me with so much more confidence into what's going to happen, into the excitement that's building in me. Because if they know what it is and it's not the easy option, then what in the world is it?
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, we've been at this with the favor since Survivor Series. As soon as Survivor Series ended, everyone's going, "What the hell is this favor?" Yeah. And we've been through Rumble, we've been through Chamber, and now we're in the end game now of trying to find out what it's going to be. Now, I agree with what you said before, or touched upon, in that I think by the end of that match, by the end of Mania Night 1, we'll know what the favor is. We may find out on a Raw beforehand, if he pulls the trigger of Heyman's in my corner or something like that. But yeah, I think it'll be great. And again, I've theorized with you in messages back and forth about what could happen, and again, this is what I love about it, and it's going to be so great no matter what happens. And again, never mind that, the match on its own could be spectacular.
That's what everyone's forgetting. Everyone's forgetting that these are three of the best wrestlers in the world who are about to go at it in a triple threat match, which, may I remind you, is a no DQ match.
Yeah.
As if you need reminding of that, which is a cool little wrinkle that everyone's forgetting, because all anyone's talking about is the favor, is okay, like the Seth Punk part of the feud, the Seth Roman part of the feud, the Roman Punk part of the feud, the Punk, you know, this whole trifecta. Everyone's going, oh, this part's cool, or this part's cool. Everyone is forgetting this is going to be one of the best matches on the entire show. Not just night one, both nights. Because they are just that goddamn good. And that is without all of these extra layers that are there. Like, and everyone's forgetting it. Everyone's forgetting that these are 3 of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
That we're about to watch go at it. Because
yeah.
instead, what WWE have done so well, and what the characters themselves and the wrestlers themselves have done so well, is they've weaved so many stories into this, we're forgetting about the eventual match.
Yeah.
You know, in contrast to, you know, you look at the Cody Cena match, everyone's thinking a lot about the match and what would happen afterwards.
Yeah.
Everyone, in terms of the Gunther Jay feud, everyone's thinking about the match, because that's half of the discourse by a lot of fans, is that people just don't seem to like Jay and don't believe in Jay, despite the fact that I think that's a load of tosh.
Yeah.
But like, everyone's thinking about the match there. Everyone's thinking about the Tiffy Charlotte match. Everyone's thinking about the triple threat match between Bianca, Rhea, and Io Sky. Everyone's thinking about that match. No one's thinking about the match.
Everyone's thinking, what's the favor? Yeah.
Everyone's thinking about all these interlinking storylines going into the match. Everyone's forgetting that the match itself is actually going to be phenomenal. Because all anyone's excited for is what's going to happen on SmackDown. What's going to happen on SmackDown. Everyone's forgetting that this is leading to a Mania match that's going to be incredible.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think that's the best way to wrap this up, because, again, I don't know how else to put it. So, yeah, again, if you've enjoyed this video, folks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.